2015 has been a terrible year for real estate. Buyers have disappeared, and what do developers do? Well, they have to face falling sales, so they've reduced their launches. There are empty homes across the country which are lying vacant. Can the union budget do anything to bring the sector out of its doldrums, make sure that people who want to buy a home can afford to buy a home? Joining me today on Budget Buzz is Anshuman Magazine from CBRE and Sanjay Gupta, MD PNB House. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
First question to you, Sanjay.
Yes.
Why was 2015 so terrible? I mean, why did the buyers disappear? What's been the biggest reason?
I think the biggest reason was just the sentiments. Fundamentally, there's nothing wrong with the economy. Things are all right. So the sentiment was down because, there was too much of negativism. There were too many delays. And the buyer thought that it was, not the right sort of time to make a decision to start owning a home.
So negativism and delays.
Yeah.
Anshuman, I have some numbers here. Average delays, and we are sitting in the national capital. The national capital region has the worst track record when it comes to delivery of homes. Gurgaon, Noida, Faridabad, average project delay has risen to 30 months or 2.5 years. Mumbai, 2 years. What's going on? I mean, why are developers not being able to deliver? They keep saying approval delays. Do approvals take that long? That 2.5, 3, 4 years? We know projects are delayed for 7 years.
So I just want to first answer your first question. Was one of the reasons I feel the market was bad was because prices went up really high. I think that was the number one reason. Of course, number two reason was the economy. So these two combined made the market bad.
Leading up to 2015, because in 2015 prices didn't go anywhere.
Leading up. So even if some places the prices have fallen, they're still very high. So I think we really forgot that we are a poor country still. We are not United States, and you can't be selling in dollar rates when the income is in rupees. So I think that was the number one reason why, up to it.
Affordability.
Affordability. That's number one reason. Second is, again, the economy. It dropped from 8.5%, 9% to 4.5%. It picked up again. There is no way that any business can do well if the economy is not doing well. And that had to, and somehow in India we felt that, look, anything can happen to the world, anything can happen to the economy, but real estate prices or real estate will not get impacted. So I think it's inevitable that if the market is not doing well, if the economy is not doing well, real estate cannot do well. So these two reasons was why the market was in such a bad shape. As far as I also want to just, you mentioned a lot of empty homes in India. I think if we had that, that would be still a better situation. There are a lot of homes under construction. There are not many homes which are finished and lying empty.
Okay.
Which was the case and happens when there was subprime issues in the US, other places. There are many empty homes. In India, we don't have many empty homes.
We'll come to that a little bit later because there is statistics which has made headlines which talks about how many homes are lying vacant. But let me just come back to one of you. I mean, what is your biggest, do you feel that affordability is a big reason? Anybody here who wants to buy a house and thinks that they just can't afford a house in the national capital region?
I don't think so. Affordability is there.
You think that all of us can afford?
Yes, absolutely.
Then what is the problem?
The problem
Why are
is,
you not buying into? Why did you not buy in 2015?
problem is because the builders are not delivering the projects for the last
so
2.5
sentiments are
years.
negative.
So people are reluctant to.
Now put money and give money to the developers. I think the crux is that as well.
People are interested. Give the key, take the money.
Okay. Let's come to this whole problem. I really need to look at what the developers are asking for. They're saying bring the interest rates down. That will revive demand. Give people few more SOPs in the budget. Increase their tax exemption on interest and principal, Sanjay, and that will revive demand. But here what we are hearing is, I don't want to buy because I don't trust the developer to give me the product. He takes 90% of my money but doesn't give me the product. How? The budget can't fix that, or can it fix it?
So I'm not expecting that the budget can do much about it. It's a self-discipline that we have to bring in the system. And, a little bit, and this might be very unpopular what I'm going to say, responsibility lies on the individual customer also to do proper due diligence. They come to us once they have signed their agreements, they have paid their 20-30%, and then and they have opted for cash down, buyback, all complicated stuff, subvention scheme. And I think the gentleman has made a very valid point there is not the affordability, or people are not looking at subsidies, people are looking at delivery. And the budget can hardly do anything on, you know, the behavior pattern of an entrepreneur. And I think what we have to do is a lot of consolidation and I'm patiently waiting for the regulatory bill on real estate, which can probably bring these things, you know, on in a templated format, on an even playing field, both between the customer, the regulatory authorities, and the developer.
I think what he's not saying, which he said outside of the program, was that developers don't even treat customers as their equal.
Yes.
So, Anshuman,
Yes.
that is the biggest problem. I think the customer should be king. He's giving the money to the
He's the
developer,
buyer.
and that parity has not happened.
The fact is, it has improved, but it's not there. I mean, if you know yourself, 10-15 years back, all the contracts were one-sided. If the developer delayed, the consumer had to pay for the delay. So that's not happening. But certainly, as the market expands, as there's more competition, I think there is no choice for developers but to treat
Well,
customers
we
like
have
king.
one developer, Anshuman, just to point out, very recently in NCR, who actually now has a buyer-seller agreement. It was historical, which is equal in the sense if he delays, he also has to pay you in 18% interest. Earlier, it was the developer charging you 18% if you did not pay your EMI in time, but he got away with paying you 3%, 4%, or sometimes even less than that.
Or the
really,
rentals.
I really believe in the market forces. Competition is going to change. We have reached, I mean, nobody can imagine what the market was 10 years back. It was only one-sided, and today we are seeing, and the good part is we're seeing new developers coming in, we are seeing corporate developers coming in, and that's going to make a big difference because a lot of those corporate developers are used to dealing with consumers, are used to dealing with consumers as a king, to say, but it is going to improve. But it's going to take time. It's unfortunate that till now, because there was a monopolistic situation, people did not have a choice. You know, whatever supply came, that was a choice. That choice is expanding. If you look at NCR, no doubt the NCR market is one of the toughest markets. But there is a choice now. There is Noida, there's Greater Noida, Ghaziabad, Faridabad, Gurgaon, and that supply and competition is really going to make a difference to the market. It's not going to happen overnight, but I'm quite bullish it will change. Unfortunately, what has happened till now, I don't think it's going to continue for too long.
All right. Very quickly now, coming back to the budget, because, you know, this is the run-up to the budget. Increase in exemption on home loan, principal and interest, big demand. As a home financing bank and a PSU one at the top of it, the biggest problem today is I cannot even claim all those exemptions if the house doesn't come to me, right? So that's a big thing. Can the government do anything to change that, Sanjay Gupta? Because it's really heartbreaking. I'm paying EMI.
Yeah.
I don't have a home because the developer has delayed. He may be citing NGT or whatever. And third, that little bit of relief I can get on tax exemption, I don't even get that.
Yeah. So what, you know, I have been saying is, certainly we have to make sure that the homes are delivered. Right. So one is this service tax, and we are talking of the federal budget. So we have to also make sure that we are honing on to the federal sort of laws and regulations. So one is the service tax aspect on registration. I think that should be taken away to augment the sentiment. The second thing is that this Section 80C and 2416 is now a very archaic income tax rule. It should be modified, and what the government should be saying is, if you get a house, then whatever is the capital, because, you know, the current law is only talking about loans. What happens if I save and buy? I get no tax break.
You don't get it.
Right. So they can come up with something like, let's say, 25% of the capital cost that you have disclosed can be offset over 5 years from your income.
Wow, that sounds like a dream budget demand.
I think, and the government is not going to lose much on the revenues, because we have to also make sure that the deficit because of this doesn't go up.
Yes.
I believe, you know, initially you mentioned that the budget can't do much. I partially disagree.
Okay.
Because budget can make a difference.
Okay.
What needs to be done? See, one end, there is this whole negative sentiment that let's punish the developers who have defaulted. So there are developers who defaulted. But the fact is, by punishing them, you're really punishing the consumer. Right? I think the focus should be, how do we get those projects completed? So there are a lot of people always think they're the investors. There are a lot of end users who need those houses, right?
Absolutely.
So the focus, forget about all the other things, is how do we get those projects completed so people get.
How then? What is the way
one
out?
of the is funding. The issue is funding. Main thing is there's a huge shortage of funding in the real estate market. We need long-term funding, both for the developer and also for the consumer, right? And till the time the consumption doesn't come back, the real estate market is not going to pick up.
Speaking about low-cost homes, it's an interesting figure. You know, you've got housing for all target by 2022. If you take urban centers, you have a shortage of about 2 crore homes. And guess what? Across the country, around urban centers, right now there are 1.2 crore homes lying vacant. How do you fix that? We'll be back in just a moment. You're watching Budget Pulse. We're talking about housing and the union budget. Just established right before the break that there are many issues, but the biggest agenda that this government has taken is housing for all. And now you have a situation where in the urban centers you need about 2 crore homes, Anshuman, and there are 1.2 crore homes lying vacant in and around urban cities of India. Why is this dichotomy? What's going on? I mean, you're building low-cost homes, affordable homes, and there are no takers for those homes.
In fact, in some cases there are takers, but they're not